which the National Assembly had agreed on this bill, forwarded it to the president for his assent, and the president sends it back to them saying he's got a problem with that clause, and he cited section 67 of the 1999 Constitution, which already he can address the joint session of the National Assembly, perhaps I think by extension the country, on maybe budget matters, maybe what's going on in the country. And so the argument just seems to be going back and forth, because House of National Assembly suggests that they may veto this bill if the president does not assent to it. What do you think of what's going on with that bill?
Thank you very much. I think this is a point that Nigerians must watch very closely. It is not a presidency affair, because Jonathan will not be president forever. It is a complete Nigerian affair, being careful not to allow legislative dictatorship to evolve in our politics. Now, in the memo I've sent to the National Assembly, I think I sent a copy to you, to the Sunrise people too, I have suggested that we have to be very careful in this so-called amendment or review we are doing, because I can see a bid by the National Assembly to empower itself beyond what the Constitution allows them to do. What they are trying to do now is beyond what the Constitution allows them to do. And any legislation that makes the president subservient to the National Assembly, except on matters that are brought constitutionally before that body, is not proper. The executive must be allowed to rule this country in accordance with the laws made by the National Assembly. The National Assembly must not be allowed to make laws that will make it dictate to the president how to implement the laws of this country. If you allow that to happen, we should not pay for it in the future. And the time to look at it is now. This thing they call amendment and review. It is my humble view that the National Assembly was precluded from amending or reviewing the Constitution. They can only alter it. And there's a difference between the meaning over these things. And we should not sit back and just watch these things happen. Because when they have happened, we can only talk about effect.
Shed some more light on what you just said now, the difference between alteration and amendments, because some lawyers say, look, they're one and the same thing.
They are not one and the same thing. Alteration, amendment is a change that can obliterate what is there and replace it with other things. But alteration is a change that does not obliterate what is there. You only adjust what is already there and no more. You don't do amendment by changing fundamental things you don't do alteration by changing fundamental things in a document, let alone a constitution. What you alter is what is already there, and you just adjust it to enable proper implementation or bring in line what was intended but was not properly stated. But when you talk about amendment or review, you are going out of the whole thing. And remember that that constitution protected itself by saying that any law made by the National Assembly which is inconsistent with the provisions of the Constitution is null and void. So, if you now make a law to begin to sell what is in the Constitution, you're already going against it, and it's already a nullity. So we have to look very carefully at these things. Even in America, under the American Constitution, the Congress does not amend the Constitution. The Congress only proposes and leaves it to the states to now decide, either for fifth of the state assemblies or for fifth of conference of states to do it. The Congress of America does not amend the American Constitution. But in Nigeria, we gave our own power to alter, and we carefully excluded that word amend. And we cannot just take it from the back door and begin to amend. Otherwise, one day, there will be an amendment that a resolution of the House of National Assembly should bind the president. And we're in a dictatorship. That it has not been done by this session does not mean that the future session cannot do it. Remember that the Constitution is for all times. A more ambitious legislation can come up tomorrow and begin to use what was done today when there was no problem. This is something you have to watch. The Constitution is not just an act that can be changed overnight. We must watch what is going on as far as the Constitution is concerned before we use the rope and put around our own necks.